So if they had done, sorry, Marcus, so if they had done what they should have done then,
yes,
we wouldn't be here.
We would definitely not be here. Well, look, 100 years, we're still having a confab. 100 years. Do you understand what I mean? 100 good years. The people that were born in 1914, I mean, we may not know where their graves are now.
Can we then assume that
Yeah.
this is not necessarily about a conference? It's about leadership. If you provide leadership, you won't need this conference.
I agree with you. Leadership, I know I say everything rises and falls with leadership. Leadership is influence. Look, a good leader can change a bad country. A good leader can cement differing opinions. A good leader will feel the sensibilities of the people. He will feel their pulses. A good leader will be there as a servant leader. A good leader is not there to fan his ego or to listen to one section of the people or the other. Look, we're a collectivity. We have been brought together. And you're talking of indivisibility. Fine. Indivisibility, but I need to feel you. I need to know you are there. I need to go to sleep and believe that I have someone who is marshalling out my destiny, who is taking me somewhere. I even need to know where you're going. But things we have been having, I keep saying it. You know, when you say that people want to liken it to what is happening now, I mean, what has been happening ever before? We have never gotten it right.
Can it change? Because
It can
now
change.
You got me thinking, because
Yes.
now we're moving into election year,
Yeah.
and it's always been the same story.
Yeah.
Everyone must go back to his village
Yes.
or to his constituency to cast a ballot,
Yeah.
and sometimes there's this thing they call royal blessing. You have to go back to your village and also seek the blessing of your traditional ruler before you can actually seek elective office. So some of this, I think Chamberlain has actually asked, perhaps let's talk more on it.
Yes.
Now, it's about the leadership question and how well have we been able to deliver some of this development to the people. And you said that is why we're here.
Yes.
What haven't we been doing right before we got here?
Okay. Number one, I remember when I was there last, I told you that Nigeria did not evolve homogeneously. Nigeria evolved as very distinct nations, looking up to their leaders and believing that Nigeria could go to blazes as long as the Yoruba was there, as long as the Hausas were there and the Igbos were there. And when this umbrella is cut, we will go to our different shades and corners. So that is what has been happening. And then from that place, from that point, anyone that came in, it has to be your brother before you give him support. If he's not your brother, you fight him and make sure he doesn't succeed. Because if he succeeds, it will be a credit to him and where he's coming from. And it doesn't come spontaneously. There are people making you lose faith in government by working in the service. I tell you one thing, you may not agree with me. Even the places like NEPA or PSN, whatever name called now, is being sabotaged on a daily basis by some people.
You can say that for sure.
Oh, I can say that for sure. I tell you this, look, you can disagree with me, but I will stand with it and for it. Because there are people who believe that one of the ways of wearing out a leader is to make sure there is no power, even if they themselves are suffering it. And again, when this government was selling power infrastructures, I don't think they didn't consider all these things, but thank God they didn't. If they considered it, they probably would have sold to their party men who will work it up to help them. That would have been another problem in future. Because when another party comes to power, those people will make sure there's no power. You understand what I mean? You see, everything is being sabotaged. People go out to make sure that nothing works. So that's a problem to a leader. Now, how do we now get a leader that is acceptable to the people? It must be from the new blood.
New blood?
Yes. You know about new blood?
How?
Look, one of the things I don't like with our constitution is the issue of wiping out independent candidacy. If you allow independent candidacy, the best Nigerians are not in parties now. They can't do what they do.
Can they actually campaign in terms of the funding that is involved, the massive requirements?
Why should you use 10 billion naira to campaign? Okay, for example, I'm here free. Am I not free here? You call me free. I'm not paying for it. People are hearing me.
Yeah, but if you were to campaign You will need huge resources. You have to go around 36 states. You will have to have your structure.
Yes.
And then, if you're not in government or a money bag, how will they pull through?
It's not as much as that. It's not about itinerary. It's about the money you give in people's hands to subvert the system. That's the money they're spending. Look, whenever you're campaigning, you sell your houses and get individual blocks. Bring people around, send millions in people's hands to buy rice, buy goods, buy cars, build houses. You go to traditional homes, like he said, your royal, and give him a house, a good palace, which he probably doesn't need. He already has one. You do all these things to buy people's conscience. That's why it's expensive. Otherwise, it shouldn't be expensive for you or I to run the presidency. It shouldn't be expensive. Corruption is what is making it expensive.
One of the things that came out, you were talking about leadership.
Yeah.
You talked about Nelson Mandela as a leader of South Africa, and even when he left office, that stayed with him. Shouldn't we also put into cognizance the circumstances under which Nelson Mandela emerged, and what eventually set him aside as a rare breed, in the sense that initially he was leader of Black South Africa, agitating for a particular cause, but eventually when he became president, he knew that he was president of all, and was able to manage the situation from degenerating. One would say that, first of all, we do not have such a circumstance, and it would seem that within the circumstance that we have, our leaders are doing the best, but that the makeup of the country, the way it is made up, the fact that we don't have federalism, as it was saying, makes it a little difficult for agitations from different parts of the country to be met.
Yes.
Do you agree?
No, I agree with you to some extent that the fragmentation, the ethnic thinking and leanings and cleavages are really wearing down on the leader. But that notwithstanding, have you read Nelson Mandela's speeches in prison? If you have read his speeches in prison, this man, even though he was supposed to be fighting for the blacks, but he was speaking for the good of all South Africans. I have a lot of them. He was not against the whites. He was not against the blacks, even though the blacks are the ones who are under the subterfuge of the whites. Even in prison, he was preaching forgiveness, oneness, unity, love. When he came to power, the next stage, people expected he was going to change, because the trappings of office will make you change. This is something I just want to let you know. Go to Asorok, you might not be Mope again. These guys will not have access to your number. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth.
Why would that be the case?
She knows that. She knows that.
I don't know that. That's the same for me. What I know and what I don't know.
Okay, you see, when he came to power, Nelson Mandela, the president of South Africa, he never changed. His message remained his acts. His actions and the message gelled. He never changed. And then at the end of the 5 years, or just about, the man looked at himself and said, it's not all about me. It's all about the people. I've come to the ends of the era. I've shown the way. Let the people take over. If it's all about me, when I die, there'll be a problem. And when he left office, he continued with the same message. He never changed until the day he was intent. The body was intent. Now, the only Nigerian that came close to that was Olusegun Obasanjo. Because
at what point? This last time, or while there was in the military?
That's what I'm coming.
Okay.
No, as a military, he wasn't there. As a military, he wasn't even. He was doing the bidding of some people, but I'm not here to. You see, the way he came in as a military leader after suffering the prison, maybe the best way to go to presidency is from the prison. Maybe. You see, he started well. He was praised by the East, West, North, and South. He started well. He saw the structures of the hegemony of wickedness in place when he came. He started dismantling them. He was decisive. He was selfless. He was working. But all of a sudden, because of third-time agenda, he became a populist. And the Bible says, woe to you when all men call you good.